I want to touch base on what they mean when they say a low friction engine, how you achieve low friction. There's a lot of, which I don't believe, a lot of people have just jumped on clearance and they're saying that they've slackened off clearance in the piston to ball clearance or crankshaft clearance or even valve guide. Clearance is not low friction. Low friction comes through decreasing surface area. Surface area rubbing together is where your friction comes from. So friction is a ring tension, etc. That's the rotating assembly out of a 1VD. So obviously, if you can decrease surface area, but when you decrease surface area is your enemy when it comes to performance and economy, but it's your best friend when it comes to heat transfer. So as you decrease surface area, your ability to transfer heat decreases as well. That's why they're so back, and I guess you sort of have to understand how heat transfer works. You'll hear them all bang on about thermal efficiency and all the rest of it and whatnot, but the basic principle of heat transfer has a lot to do with surface area. So it's trying to find the balance between strength, surface area, economy, efficiency, and all those sort of things. There's a lot more to it than just slacking off. Anyone that says slackens off tensions obviously clearly have no idea what they're talking about. I'll give you a really easy way to put it, to just show you to start with. This is the basic. So here we have, that's the crank obviously. We've got 8 pistons, 8 con rods, 24 rings, 16 bearing shells, whatnot, that we want to rotate in an engine. This one here, just to show you how easy it is, if I put, I can spin that one hand. That's the crank with it's got 2 oil pumps in it, but that's the crankshaft with just easy, no problem at all. As soon as I add, as I say, 8 pistons, the rings, whatnot, and you add that, so we've put pistons in this block, I have no chance of turning, I can just get it to move. So that is simply, their bores and everything are all full of oil, the crank's full of assembly lube, so all you have now is ring tension pressing against the cylinder wall. We have surface area as far as the pins go, the bearings on the crank go, the skirts of the pistons, so all this adds up to the resistance that you add once you start trying to turn that crank. That is what they're trying to decrease when they say low friction. That's what they're trying to do. They're trying to make this a lot easier to spin. Obviously, the easier you can spin that, the less fuel you're going to use, the quicker you're going to spin it if it's lighter, etc. You're miles in front. So understanding that is what they mean by low friction, not clearance. Clearance will just give you smoke and rattly noises, etc. So we need to stop thinking that clearance has a relationship with low friction. When you do decrease surface area, the next thing what you're going to come up against obviously is heat transfer. Now heat transfer, the majority of heat transfer, obviously where the fire is in the engine is here. This is where you get ignition, etc. So that's your hottest part. All the heat begins here. So we've got to exit that heat. The heat that starts here exits obviously through the radiator at the front of the vehicle, through surface area. So you have piston rings. The majority of the heat gets transferred from the piston ring to the cylinder wall. So obviously we go from the piston to the piston ring, from the ring to the cylinder wall. We have a water jacket that runs on the other side of the cylinder, so that water then passes through. The water absorbs the heat that is generated here, transfers from the rings, takes it to the front of the radiator. The radiator, once again, all the radiator is tubes that have little fins in between them. Those fins are surface area. So once again, the air comes across, the heat transfers into that air, gets carried away. The coolant then travels back again to absorb more heat from the ring transferred. The circle, it goes around and around again. The other way you have of taking heat away from the piston is through the cooler inside the piston, and this is where it gets really, where they've jumped forward in technology for sure.